Can Zhen Huan, blessed with both beauty and talent, truly outshine all in the imperial harem and enjoy everlasting favor? After Huan Guofan left, I frowned and reprimanded Pear. Why are you so impetuous and careless with your words? It was the first time Pear saw me speaking to her so sternly, and she couldn't help but feel scared, quickly kneeling down and saying softly, that Huan Guofan always sails with the wind. Previously, he was skimping on your expenses, but now seeing you in favor, he's constantly shifting the blame to others and flattering. How could I not know that? It's clear in my mind. Just be cautious, there's no need to confront him openly. After all, he's the head of the Internal Affairs Department. If word of this gets out, people will laugh at us for being petty and frivolous, giving them ammunition for no reason. I sighed softly. I know you mean well, but there's no need to fight over every little thing. We've seen plenty of such squabbles, and everyone in the palace can play this game. Not just Huan Guofan. Pear bowed her head, her face showing remorse, and whispered, I know I was wrong. It's good that you understand. But it was also good that you gave that servant a warning, making him wary. Just remember not to lose your sense of proportion in everything. I called Jinxi over and instructed, tell everyone below not to show any arrogance. They must not mess up the forms of address. Right now, there are probably people looking for our mistakes. Jinxi acknowledged and added, I have something I wish to report to my lady. Go ahead. Huan Guofan is a distant relative of Consort Hua. I gestured for her not to continue. I know. I was about to discuss this with you. Although I personally selected these new eunuchs and palace maids, they were all sent from outside. You and Xiao Yunzi need to be extra vigilant and ensure they don't get up to anything. Also, assign them only to menial tasks. The duties close to me will still be performed by you and a few others. Jinxi assured. I and eunuch Yun will be very careful. I then asked, is the medicine ready today? Have Lu Zhu bring it in for me to drink. Ever since Emperor Xianling took a personal interest in my illness, the Imperial Medical Bureau has been very cautious, not daring to be negligent. When Shichu comes to my palace daily to check my pulse, the adjustment of my medicine dosage is not allowed to be interfered with by others. It's carefully reduced bit by bit and personally prepared by Wen Shichu before being handed over to the palace mates for brewing. At the same time, he's also prescribing tonics that don't conflict with the medicine for my recuperation. The emperor comes to see me every other day, and seeing my spirits gradually lifting and color returning to my face, he is very pleased. One early morning, just after I had woken up, Xiao Hetzi, an eunuch from the emperor's side, came with a cheerful expression to deliver a message, saying the emperor would come to see me after the morning court session and asked me to get ready. Jingqing suggested, the emperor is coming soon. Shouldn't my lady change into a brighter outfit to welcome him? I can help you style your hair into a welcoming spring bun, if you like. I just smiled and didn't answer, instead turning to Jinxi to ask, the concubines in the palace usually greet the emperor in bright and beautiful attire, don't they? Yes. When the women of the palace present themselves before His Majesty, they naturally try to look as radiant as possible to please the emperor, Jinxi responded. With a smile, I nodded and had Huanbai bring over a dress. I chose a light green top embroidered with silver threads and hundreds of butterflies among flowers, the sleeves made wider than usual, rustling with the wind. The waist was tightly cinched, paired with a long skirt in goose yellow embroidered with white magnolias. I opted for a simple peach heart bun, adorned only with a few milk-white pearl hairpins, highlighting the glossy black of my hair, and a slanted jade pin with a fine silver tassel dangling from it. Jingqing tentatively remarked, my lady looks beautiful in this outfit, but it's quite understated. I just smiled. This is fine. Women in the palace usually compete with each other in extravagance and splendor before the emperor. My choice to dress elegantly but simply would be a refreshing change for him. After getting ready, the emperor arrived shortly. I had been waiting at the palace gate early and greeted him with a smile. He took my arm, saying, it's windy outside, why have you come out? Come in with me. I stood up after thanking him for his grace. Xianling noticed my attire and his eyes lit up. He smiled and said, like a lotus flower emerging from clear water, naturally unadorned. My concubine Huan is truly unique. Hearing his praise made me happy and I shyly replied, It's only because your majesty does not disdain my modest qualities. Once we were seated inside, a palace maid had already prepared a brocade cushion on the dragon throne and lit a batch of exquisite aloeswood incense from the western regions in a gilded Persian-style incense burner beside the seat. The light smoke gently wafted into the air, filling the room with a fragrant aroma. I took my seat on a rosewood chair beside him only after seeing Xianling seated. Xianling nodded slightly. This incense is very pleasant. Listening to the courtiers' memorials all morning has been quite taxing. It seemed my preparation was not in vain. I softly said, "Your Majesty came to see me right after the morning court. You must be tired. Shall I serve you a cup of tea?" Xianling smiled. "There's no need for you to do such things. Let the servants handle it. The tea served personally by me cannot be compared to that by others. Please wait a moment, Your Majesty." I walked gracefully into the warm chamber and soon came out holding a Hetian jade teacup, smiling. "This is the tea I brewed. I hope it suits Your Majesty's taste, and you won't find it lacking." Despite my jesting words, I was somewhat anxious, hoping he would enjoy the tea, yet fearful that it might not meet his preference. Xianling said, "If it's prepared by you, I'm most pleased." He took the cup and admired the clear jade green tea, its aroma striking deep. "What a fragrant tea," he commented, taking a small sip and then pausing thoughtfully before taking another. My heart sank, fearing he disliked it. But then Xuanling's brows smoothed, his smile deepened, and he looked at me asking, "This tea has an exceptionally refreshing and penetrating fragrance. I've tasted it for a while. The tea leaves are from the cold teas of Yu province, with hints of pine needles and plum blossoms, but the rest is not clear. Tell me, what else did you add?" I smiled and said, "Your Majesty has a keen palate. This tea is called the Three Friends of Winter, made with pine needles, bamboo leaves, and plum blossoms brewed together. The water used is dew collected from lotus leaves before sunrise in summer, which gives it such a refreshing taste. The ancients say that tea can cleanse the heart, and only after drinking your tea today do I realize their words hold truth," he replied. My cheeks flushed slightly. "Your Majesty flatters me. It was just a fortunate coincidence. Last year, I collected 2 jars of it but couldn't bear to drink them. I brought 1 jar to the palace and buried it under the pear tree behind the hall. It was only dug up a few days ago. Now that you're in Tongli Palace, do you find it comfortable? It seems a bit remote to me." "Thank you for your concern, Your Majesty. I find it quite to my liking. It's very peaceful." My voice softened. "I don't much care for bustle." Xuanling's fingertips brushed my cheek, gently tucking a stray lock of hair behind my ear, sending a warm flush across my face. He spoke softly, "I understand. Tongli Palace is serene and the land is nurturing. It's good for you." His gaze lingered on me, warming with appreciation. "You look much healthier. You must be recovering well." "It was never a serious illness, just my own frailty. With Your Majesty's blessings, I've recovered more swiftly." His gaze softened with a tender intensity. I was puzzled by his peculiar smile until I caught Jinshi trying to suppress her amusement, which made me realize the intimacy of the moment, sending a flush of embarrassment through me. Seeing my flustered reaction, Xianling smiled and said, "I find your shyness utterly endearing." Aware of the servants nearby, I tried to withdraw my hand, whispering urgently, "Your Majesty, what is there to fear?" he asked, his smile deepening. Turning, I saw that Jinshi and the others had discreetly retreated outside, giving us privacy. Xianling stood, drawing me into an embrace. The mix of his ambergris fragrance, the bittersweet scent of the aloeswood incense, and the distinct potent scent of his masculinity enveloped me, stirring both curiosity and a deep sense of immersion. The warmth of his breath on my neck felt like seeking cool relief in a light summer garment. Outside, the branches of the crabapple tree were dotted with budding red blossoms. Xianling held me quietly, the warmth of the day permeating the hall. The window screens, newly replaced with sky-blue cicada wing gauze from Nanjing, billowed softly like a young girl's blushing cheeks in the gentle breeze. The rustling of the leaves sounded like intimate whispers from afar, a tender call across the distance. Despite my usual boldness, I felt a softness spreading from my palm throughout my body, my mind blissfully blank, my heart brimming with joy and sweet warmth, wishing only to linger in this moment, unwilling to let go.
Follow us to avoid getting lost and enjoy endless exciting stories. For more content, please go to the Story Wall homepage to view more exciting novels.